Well, howdy folks, welcome to this episode of Vern's Misadventures. I'm in the process of editing the very video you're about to see here, and it occurred to me that without a little introduction, this might be pretty confusing and or discouraging and or disgusting. So I thought, how do I clip out all the mistakes and try to make it look more polished and everything else? And then I got thinking, if you're into tech like I am, then you'll sit and watch people make mistakes so that you can learn from their mistakes. Anyway, so what happened here was I went through and I was trying to demonstrate how to fix the black screen on CentOs 7. I have the AMD Pro drivers installed in this particular one here. And so, I did an update, and it had a kernel update. So, of course, that broke the driver, so no video. So I went to demonstrate how to fix that, and then after uninstalling the driver and reinstalling the driver, I wanted to demonstrate before we rebooted what kind of frame rate you would get using the open source driver versus the proprietary driver, if you will. But what happened was I ended up locking everything up, and then it corrupted my new kernel that, was the update that caused the whole problem to begin with. So what I'm going to end up demonstrating here is how I managed to make that mistake and the steps I then took to correct it. And so at the end of the video, if you're willing to work with me here, we will end up with a booting CentOs 7 with a functioning AMD GPU-pro installation. So, I think it's more important in this YouTube channel of mine to be genuine. I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. I don't want to have to try to keep up some kind of charade there. So with me, it's Vern's Misadventures for a reason, because things go wrong. But the main thing is that we persist until we finally succeed. And so, that's basically the theme of this thing here. And so, hey, let's jump in and we'll get started.
Alrighty, so I just updated CentOs, and of course it got a kernel update, and so I have the Pro drivers for the AMD video cards installed in this one. And so of course, when I try to boot to it, I'm getting a black screen, as I'll demonstrate here. So we'll select CentOs. And see here we got fatal error during GPU initialization init, and then we get a black screen. So I fixed this once before and didn't have the foresight to record it. Let's see what we can come up with here. Alright, we're turning the computer back on. Select an operating system here as soon as we get the chance. Alright, we're going to go to CentOs, and we're going to press E on the keyboard right here to edit our choice. Then over here we're going to go down to where it says Linux VM Linux. We're going to go all the way to the end of that line. And we'll put a space and a 3. Alright, and then we'll Control X to get out of the editing screen. And it will boot with this temporary change to our grub here. This does not persist, it only stays this way one time. Alright, so as you can see, you get the login screen here. So let me get logged in. Okay, so here we are. We're all logged in and everything. As you can see, we're already in the home deal here. And in my home folder, when I installed the AMD GPU, now, if you're going to install this, see now, I got a comment on one of my videos where I did this with the NVIDIA. Showed how you can come down here and reinstall the driver, all that fun stuff. I got a comment saying, well, that assumes that somebody already has the driver. Well, obviously, if you don't have the driver, you'll use another computer that you can boot, and you'll go to the website and you'll download the driver and you'll put it on a flash drive or something. Now in this case here, I have the driver here, and part of the driver here for the AMD GPU Pro is it actually installs and you build it. So what this is here that's showing up right here, AMD GPU, now that's actually a folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to change directories into that folder. And I'll just write AMD and then the tab. Alright, now within there, okay, now you see there's a documentation DOC, right? So we'll change directories into the DOC. So CD DOC, like an LS. Okay, so alright, I have links installed. If you don't have it installed, then at this point you'll want to install a command line web browser, basically what it is. And one that I'm familiar with is Lynx. Now there are others, but I'm familiar with Lynx because I played around with Lynx when I was installing Gen 2 before. So, you know, if necessary, what you'll do is you'll just do the sudo yum install Lynx, right? Put your password. Alright, and as you see, it's already installed in the latest version, so there's nothing to do. But in your case, you would go ahead and install that, right? So with Lynx, you can open the HTML based instructions, basically. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at, so let's just go Lynx and then space and then the page you want to open. Now if it's on the web, then obviously you do the www, but this carries a local file in the current directory that we're in. So what we'll do is we'll just look for index.html, and as you see here, you have the index page up here, right? And so now we can go down here so you got your preamble, your prerequisites, extracting, configuring, installing and uninstalling. Here we go. Uninstalling the AMD GPU graphics stack. So what we do here is we click on that, and it says to use this for all open components, and all you do is you run this little deal here, which is a command. Look, AMD GPU uninstall. And since we have the Pro, we would use AMD GPU-Pro uninstall, right? So what we'll do is we will get out of here just by doing Control-C. So that closes Lynx. So we'll do AMD GPU-Pro uninstall. I'm thinking we're probably going to need sudo for that. And we click yes. So what it does is it erases the current installation, which of course is for the wrong kernel, right? So once this is done, you should be able to boot with the open source driver into your graphical interface. So basically you should be able to boot into the GNOME desktop. So we'll see when this finishes if that's the case. Alright, here we go. So we're good. So now we can just do a sudo reboot. Rebooting. Awesome. Ready? So we'll go down here and select CentOs again. And let's see if it'll go into the GNOME desktop. I believe that it will. Okay, so we switched monitors to the left monitor now, but yes, we are logging in. So let me put my password. Alright, so as you can see, the GNOME desktop has now booted, right? And so we're using the open source AMD GPU drivers that installed originally with CentOS. If you don't want to use Pro drivers anymore, you're done. But if you want to reinstall them, go to the file manager, which is Nautilus. Go to our home folder. Yes, right here. Okay. And I would say just run the script. It's simple enough. It's right there. But there are some extra parameters we got to set, so you'll want to get those right. So this would be applicable if you were installing this for the first time as well. I'll go ahead and navigate to the AMD folder right here. The AMD Pro 1850 RHEL 7.6. And for those of you who don't know, Red Hat Enterprise Linux and CentOS are essentially the same, only Red Hat includes the support and also requires licensing. So if you have CentOS, you have the Community Enterprise Operating System, which is what CentOS stands for. Alright, so you got, let's go to the documentation again. So now we should be able to just double click it and it should open up in Firefox or possibly Chromium. So we'll go to the index again. Just double click it. Dun, dun, dun. Here we are. And so it is opened up in Firefox. Yeah, I didn't get the message that Firefox had an issue yet. It might still come up. So maybe that update fixed that. So let's go here, installing and uninstalling the Pro variant. Here we go. If you want to install it with the base kernel, accelerated graphics, Mesa Multimedia, Pro OpenGL, Pro Vulkan, and Pro OpenCL. So if you want to have all that, then you want to use this particular command here. So you're going to run the script with these parameters added. Okay, so it'll copy. So we've copied that. Now we can go to the terminal. We'll go to the terminal here, right? And let me see. I'll make the terminal as large as I can too. Let me see. Control Shift plus 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 plus. Awesome. All right. So yeah, we'll change direct. Well, first ls. All right. Now we're in our home directory in the terminal, right? Because we see the AMD GPU-pro folder. So we'll change directory to that. So CD AMD and just press the tab button to complete it. Alright, so then we can ls again, and we see that we're in there, and we can actually run the script, which is the AMD GPU-pro install. And we're going to run it with some parameters. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to go sudo, and then we're going to paste. Alright, so that did the whole thing we copied out of the directions, and then we'll press enter. Password. Alright. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe it's building the driver right now. I've been at this a while, but the hard drive light is still blinking, so I'm... Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Complete. How about that, huh? Let's see here. Now, my theory is we're not going to be able to use this till we reboot. So let's just run glx gears. Alright, so let that be a lesson to you. Probably don't want to do that right after you do that. So yeah, we've obviously crashed the desktop. No big deal. What we'll do is we'll just push the power button on the computer to reset it, and we'll restart, and we should be able to use our new drivers. You did complete the installation. Now, just as a precaution, here's something you need to remember on a multi-boot system. As you can see, I have several operating systems. I have all these plus Mac OS plus Windows 10. Well, Windows 10's in the list, so I guess I can't count that twice. At any rate, in a multi-boot system, when you have more than one Linux distro, and you have one that controls grub, in my case, the OpenSuse controls grub. So anytime you make a change to an operating system, it's a good idea to boot your grub controlling operating system, which of course in my case is OpenSuse. So we're going to boot in here. Now if you only have the one operating system installed, then you should be good to go because it would have updated all that as it went. But I want to make sure that I'm booting the latest version of the kernel that I have installed. So since we just made a modification to CentOS, namely adding some new kernel modules, I would imagine that that would have made a difference for what kernel would be booted. So we'll go to Yast. Okay, so in OpenSuse we'll go to Yast, rattle off password. Now as I say, this probably won't apply to many of you here, but in my case I'm going to go to Yast and go to the bootloader, and it's basically going to refresh the bootloader, which is grub. Okay, and then we'll just click OK, and it'll rebuild our grub. Alright, that's done. So now we can reboot into CentOS. So we'll restart. Alright, we're going to go down, we're going to select CentOS. The theory is that it's going to boot into the GNOME desktop environment. So we'll see if that actually happens. Well, that's not particularly great. So we go down here, go to advanced options, enter. Now we'll edit on this one, on the second one here, the 10.1. So let's go and press the E, and then we'll come down here to where it says Linux, VM Linux. We'll come down to the end of that line. And space 3, Control X. Okay, now it should start in command line mode here. Yeah, okay, so alright, ls cd AMD tab. Okay, so we go AMD, we'll do sudo AMD GPU-pro uninstall. So yes to that. Racing. Okay, I guess it's done. It says complete, right? So with that, let's see here. So we should be able to just do an init 5. So let's see. Sudo init 5. Fire up the desktop if it's going to work. Okay, so that much worked. So wow. Okay, so we got some kind of weird thing going with the desktop, but that's all right. This will get us where we need to be. So let's see here. We're going to need the terminal. Actually, I think we can do this graphically. What we're going to do is we're going to go super user. Okay, good. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Nautilus. Alright, so we want to go in our boot sector here. And if we look here, we have the 10.1 is what we booted on here. So anything newer than the 10.1, we want to delete. That 12.1 was the one that was giving us the problems. Yeah, so the 12.1 needs to go away. So we can delete that one. And we'll just move that to trash. And then anything else having to do with that 12.1. There's a 12.1, so we can move that to trash. And then this is 12.1. We'll move that to trash. Alright, so everything having to do with our corrupt setup we had going there. And we can get rid of this one too. So move that to trash. So all the 12.1s that were corrupt as all get out are gone now. So what we'll do now is we can reboot. Okay. And we'll just close the terminal. Okay, so we'll restart. Then we'll go back into OpenSuse, update grub. Alright, get logged in here. Okay, so yeah, we'll update grub, so we go to Yast. Then we go to the bootloader. Now we don't have to change anything, all we have to do is just click OK and it's gonna update grub. Okay, cool. So we close and we reboot. So now we should no longer have the option to boot the corrupted image. It should just have the newest image available should be that 10.1 that we booted this time. So let's see if that's in fact the case. Maybe I can save this, huh? Alright. So it zip zap zing right in there. So let's see. Alright, so we obviously have some graphics issues here. So what we'll do now is we'll reinstall the graphics driver. First we go to the files, we get the instructions, documentation, index, installing Pro variant right here. Alright, and we wanted to do this one here. Well, we don't want the $, just the /back. So copy. Okay, then we can close that. We're done with that. Should be done in here. Now we'll open the terminal up. Alright, that's good. And we'll make that larger where we can see better. Okay. We don't want any permission issues, so we'll just go super user. Right on, right on. Alright, we're going to change directory into AMD. Pressing the tab key to complete, enter. Alright, we see that we have our install script available to us, so now we can just paste. Alright, no need for sudo when you're already root, so we press enter. It's installing. Alright, we get to the DKMS, that's when it builds the driver, so now we just gotta give ourselves a minute here to let it finish. Okay, so we're installing now, finally. Complete. Alright. Now before we do anything stupid, let's just do this. Let's do a reboot. right? All right. Back into OpenSuse to update grub once again. Alrighty, back to Yast. Bootloader. Okay. Done. We close. Restart. Once this is done, theoretically, we should be back to where we were before we ever installed updates and broke everything. Oh my goodness. Theoretically. Down here is CentOs. Alright, well that's encouraging that we didn't get the mirrored screen this time. Last time we had a mirrored screen where one display was on both of the monitors. So I'm hoping we'll end up with our span display. Looky, will you look at that? So, yeah, we fixed it. How about that? That's basically how you can fix a corrupted CentOs installation. So that gets us back up to a running system. And I'll go ahead and run the GLX gears to see if the Pro drivers are actually doing their thing. So let's see, we'll go to terminal. Okay, so to see the frame rate, we'll just bring this up, and full screen it's pulling 5,000 frames per second GLX gears, so that is definitely using the Pro drivers. So let's see, we just Control C, and that kills all that. What we did was we uninstalled and reinstalled the video drivers, and then in the process managed to corrupt our new kernel, then went around, then found a way to go back and fix it. They made it where you don't have to use the advanced options every time, so we got rid of the corrupted kernel, and yeah, so now it works. Wonderful. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps somebody. Y'all take care.